I've been playing since I was 4 years old.
I started when I was 3. When I was 5 years old.
Probably 4 or 5.
About 5? Around like 5 years old.
When I was 4 years old.
About 6 years old. About 16 years old.
Prior to that, I played basketball.
I started playing after watching my brothers play baseball growing up.
I started playing because I watched my sisters play. My dad was a coach and I was just around the field all the time.
I absolutely fell in love with it at an early age.
I put on a glove as soon as I came out of my mom.
Hi, my name's Angela Ballentine. I am the manager of long-term player development programs with Softball Canada, and I'm thrilled to welcome you here today for the 2021 Women of Softball Virtual Summit. We are so excited to help share the experiences of these empowering women with the intention of inspiring the next generation. We will be hearing from 6 different women, all from different walks of life and all from different facets of the game. We hope they inspire you, make you reflect on your own accomplishments, and maybe even encourage you to get more involved in the game that we love, all while supporting women within the softball community. So with that, sit back, relax, and let's get started.
Hi, I'm Karina Zanoli, and this is my softball story. I was raised in a little hamlet in Manitoba called Langruth. So my softball beginning was about as grassroots as you can get. Just a group of parents getting kids out to play ball. I don't think we had an organized league or anything like that, just get the kids out and play. But then my family moved to Portage-la Prairie when I was in grade 5, and that spring would have been my first time playing organized softball. I actually have a newspaper article still from my very first softball game. So calendar leads winners. Karina Calendar hit a home run and went 4 for 4 at the plate when a Squirt Girls softball league play started Monday. So I'm not sure who the local sports writer in Portage was at the time, but thank you. You fueled a passion in a young girl that still continues. So I kept playing minor ball in Portage through till kind of a highlight being 1992. Our local team won the Bantam B Girls Provincials that year. And that tournament and win, I think, opened the door for me to start playing the sport at a more competitive level. The following year in 93, Softball Manitoba actually approved what was basically a rural all-star team to be formed, and that was Manitoba Magic. And we were to serve as the host team at the 93 Midget Girls Canadians in John Bloomberg in Winnipeg. So that opportunity, I was fortunate enough to make that team, and that kind of opened the door for so many opportunities. That summer was actually my first time on a plane at 16 years of age, flying to BC to play in a ball tournament at Softball City. And then, of course, finishing up the year at the Canadian Championships, we placed 4th. I continued to play competitive ball, attending Canadians in 95 back in Surrey and 97 in Calgary. And that year I actually was a pickup and played with Smitty's Terminators. And we went on to win the silver medal that year, 97 junior women's. And that moment was kind of a bit of a full circle moment for me because I joined an old teammate of mine on that team, Charmaine. And her mom was actually my very first softball coach back from the league team where that newspaper article originated. So having Coach Carol there when we won silver, was an awesome memory. And I still remember how emotional and excited she was afterwards. And we definitely shared a few tears afterwards. So I started playing slow pitch in about 1999. As a fastball player, I was an outfielder, and I had the opportunity to play behind some very dominant pitchers. So let's just say I relate to the little girl out in the field picking dandelions. There were games where I didn't see much action, and that definitely changed when I started playing slow pitch. As a female, particularly playing the co-ed version of the game, there's nothing I enjoy more than being in the outfield and getting picked on and then coming up and throwing out a guy at second base that thought he was going to stretch a single into a double. So needless to say, I was hooked and continued to play slow pitch most of my adult life. Shortly afterwards, I made the move to Calgary, and there I started playing competitive women's slow pitch. I've had the opportunity to attend 10 Canadian championships playing slow pitch and won 2 golds, too many silvers that I don't enjoy mentioning or counting. But my very first gold medal was in 2010, and that was back at Softball City. And I was also fortunate to be named the championship round MVP at that tournament, and was awarded that award by Jackie Duggar. She is a longtime Softball Canada board member, and now is someone that I get to join at meetings, and actually have had the privilege of serving on the Softball Canada Slow Pitch Safety Committee with. But I do have to take the opportunity to thank another amazing woman who was mostly responsible for me joining this sport off the field, and that's Gloria Guthrow. Gloria is a longtime Softball Alberta board member. She serves as a district organizer, and she invited me to attend my first AGM as a slow pitch delegate for our zone, which I did, and did continue to serve in that position for a few years before putting my name forward to run for the Softball Alberta board and getting elected in 2016. Having this opportunity to share my story, really has given me the opportunity to reflect, and you start to kind of recognize things later that maybe you didn't notice at the time. Firstly, how fortunate I was to have a female coach. My very first softball coach, Coach Carol. Now I recognize that that's not as common as you might think in the female side of the game, and that there is a need for more female coaches, and how fortunate I was to have that role model as a young girl. I'm also thankful when I look back at 2010 and that gold medal. I did that 9 months postpartum. I hopped on a plane and flew to BC with a 9-month-old and a 2-year-old. I would not have been able to do that without the support of my mom, who came with me, and my in-laws as well. They were there. My husband plays as well. So without having them there to help care for the boys, I wouldn't be able to compete and pursue my goals. So thank you. I also want to thank Softball Alberta. It is an organization that has some amazing women as staff members, serving on the board, even as the president of the association. Seeing that made the opportunity to put my name forward seem realistic and very welcoming. So I'm so thankful to have those role models in my life. And I really think representation matters. Little girls need to be able to see their future selves in leadership roles, as coaches, as umpires. And I am so thankful that I had those people in my life that made these opportunities a reality for me. There's a local female politician here that actually just recently posted that it typically takes a female, it takes 10 asks before they consider putting their name forward. Now that was referencing politics, obviously, but I think it applies here. So I want this for all of you out there to be ask number 1, to look for ways to get involved in the sport beyond just being a player. I am beyond thankful for the opportunities this sport has provided me. I've had the opportunity to travel from coast to coast, literally from White Rock to St. John's, either playing or attending meetings. And, you know, most of my closest friends and even my husband I met playing this sport. So I'm so thankful for the opportunities. And that's it.
Hello, I'm Annie Micho. I'm from Montreal South Shore in Quebec. And this year, 2021, will be my 25th season as an umpire. My story in softball doesn't start at that moment, 25 years ago. It started when I was 5 years old. My parents, both of them, were registered to a league, a local league. And I was asking them, okay, you two are playing and I can't play? Why? I was very lucky because at that moment, the city association was starting a U10 team and they still missed some players. So I just started at that age. Eventually, I loved the game too much. I wanted to be involved in a different way. So at 13, I started to score a key my local games, not mine actually, but the other category. But it was not enough into the game to me. So then the year after, I asked my booker to be an umpire. And for the first and last time ever, he said, we have too much umpires, so you have to wait a year at least. So the year after, finally, I got the chance and started to umpire at 15. Of course, I started with the lower level, but eventually I got booked for my first plate at the fast pitch game. And when the first pitch came in, it was like, oh my God, this is where I belong, really. So I kept going in my local association for a few years. And then I participated to my first provincial events. This is really a milestone to me because I discovered that some people were trained to help me being a better umpire. This is quite very new and very exciting to me. I also met at that tournament Mike Néron, who will be very important in my development as an umpire, but also, well, as an umpire, of course, but on and off the diamonds. So it really was a great experience. After that, things went very fast. I joined a new association, a very high-level and experienced group in my area, and it helped me to learn and improve very quickly. At that moment, I started to umpire mainly men's ball. That group was led by two women, Joyce and Lucy, who did the bat for us women. So when I came in, it was much easier to me to get some respects and to avoid some bad comments. And you know, when men's ball come in, they can be very worse. So really, it was much easier for us than it would probably be for them, both of us. Even if that was easier, I still have to learn how the man can intimidate you, whether it's verbally or physically. How it is different when they interact with women. They really don't act the same. And as for those who don't know me, I'm 5'1". At that moment, weighted about 100 pounds. So I really needed to learn how to get to look bigger. So that was the first challenge, the first thing that is different for us, for me as a woman. But having those great mentors was really a game changer. It helped me a lot and helped me to keep my confidence and to keep going. I honestly been very, very lucky to be in that group, but also to be supported by the provincial management, whether it was the Softball Quebec director of boards and as well as the ODC, the provincial ODC. When it came time to jump in men's side, the provincial level, I was very good surrounded, so I could just start to make my marks on as a good umpire, and then after that being put in a situation that can be more explosive, but all the time with a veteran that helps me to learn many things. again, Joyce and Lucy did the pads, so they knew that women can be very good, and they really appreciated them. But we still have things to learn as rookie, such honesty, how to listen, how to be fair, how to respect the players in the game, to recognize the emotion rising, and how to just cut it down before it gets too high. So all those things improving, I got some respect from the games, from the players, and it came quite naturally. It was not a big effort. It was just the improving of my umpiring. In major events in the national level, to me, being a woman also meant to be the only one woman in the crew, or maybe with one other. So, which is, it's a good thing because you have all the change in the room for yourself. But at the same time, it's different being with other women. The bound is different. The little things that we share can be quickly addressed, or just we can speak more about those little things. All women understands the challenge of each other. So it really makes a difference when I had the chance to have many women in my crew, and every time I hope there will be a lot of women. Being a woman reached another level when I became a mother 5 years ago, 5 years and a half now. As a couple, we always wanted to have children. That was not a question, but it was also not a question that umpiring will not be sacrificed. I'm very, very lucky to have him in my life and supporting of everything, even if it means that I'm leaving home, leaving those three for 10 days, having vacations in softball, having then on the diamond for provincial events. It makes a huge difference for me, and it makes it very, very easy. And I can still live my passion of the sports and umpiring with him at my side. Reality changed as well as a mother, because we have to be honest, days are longer with children, times for ourselves, and energy is fewer, as well as space in our heads. So I have to accept that change and adapt myself to make all those things fit together. So I have to make choice between things that have to stay. I want it to be in my life, but still that maybe sometimes needs to leave or to be on the side for a moment. So it comes with sometimes difficult choice, but well, now it's much easier, and it's really I can still live both family side and softball and works and everything. I've learned a lot of things being on softball through times, through those 25 years. When you manage Orthodox men ball games, toddler tantrum is quite not very a challenge. It's just an adaptation. So it's something that is really can help you to move forward and to adapt easily. Also, there's a lot of things like controlling my own emotions, to deal with people generally, but also with emotional people. My implication of the diamond also taught me how to, what is behind decision, teams works, organization, having a different perspective on things that have an impact on decision, and what your own decision can have a different impact for something, another group, or some stuff like that. So, every day there's a way that I've used those tools, those learning in my family, in my works, and it's a life experience, and I wouldn't change it for nothing. It's helping me every day. Finally, reaching level 5 and WBFC certification was a lot of work, but a huge accomplishment for myself, as not so much women persevere to get and keep it going until this level. I was lucky to do it all before having kids. It helps on times at least. So it's an honor again, And every time I have the confidence of Softball Canada and the ODC, it's a huge, huge honor to represent Canada internationally. And it's the opportunity to show all these works and all these learnings that I've made through time. So this is what softball brings to me, and this is hopefully this is what softball would do for those next generation who comes after us.
Okay, my name is Callie Mcintosh Boulder, and this is my softball story. I'm currently 18 years old. I've been playing softball for around 8 years now. I lived in Mississauga, Ontario, and I played for the Mississauga North Tigers and the Brampton Blazers. After the first 2 years of softball, I completely fell in love with the sport and decided to train outside of my travel teams. So I found a batting coach with Ontario Blue Jays, and I started to attend the Softball Canada training camps in the winter. I was able to go to nationals 3 times, and in 2019, I was lucky enough to be on the team who won the U19 national championship. As I progressed throughout the years, my love for softball increased, and I loved everything it brought into my life, and I decided to make it my goal to have an opportunity to play at the NCAA level. And I attended many tournaments and showcases in the US to help gain exposure and explore my options. And I finally fell in love with the University of Akron, where I was offered a spot on the team. The atmosphere and the drive of the team and the coaching made my decision really easy, and I felt I was already part of the family. So now I'm living my dream as a freshman at NCAA Division I school, and I wouldn't be able to reach my goal without dedication and determination of myself, my coaches, and my teammates, and everybody in the softball world. Softball has always been an outlet for me. It's been like the one thing in my life I could always look forward to. Every time I go to the diamond, all of like the stress leaves my head, and the only thing I think about is softball and the game. It has impacted me greatly and it's allowed me to become more confident in myself and put trust in others. It's kept me focused on more important things in my life, like my grades, my family, my friends. Overall, softball has taught me so many life lessons, and it has made me a team player, not only in the sport, but in my life and social life as well. So it's been very impactful.
So what's it like being a student athlete and being able to play softball at this elite level?
It's truly amazing. It's definitely hard balancing school and athletics because of the training and the games and recovery and all of that. And you have to make sure that you're getting a certain GPA or you won't play. So it's definitely very you have to manage your time well in order to not go crazy. But it's so much fun once you get a hold of everything. Like the first semester was pretty hard for me, trying to get all my classes together and meeting the team and being new to everything, not knowing what to do. So that was kind of hard, but now everything's so much fun. My teammates make it so easy. School is definitely getting easier as I get used to it and how it works and stuff like that. But overall, it's amazing. It's so much fun.
Yeah. So when, things start to get stressful, especially kind of with that first semester of school, it's a lot. What kind of motivates you to keep going and to keep attending those practices, and classes?
I would definitely say my teammates. My teammates have a big impact on my life right now, because it's kind of like when you go into university, being on a team, you already have a certain set of friends that you have on the team. So they've definitely made the whole process easier. And every time I'm stressed or I need help with something or I'm just not getting it or anything, they're always there to help. And especially the coaches too. You can text them. They're so nice. They'll help you with anything. It's definitely been the team helping me to get through my personal problems, no matter what it is.
Do you have a favorite memory so far from playing?
I wouldn't say playing any games right now because we've only played 1 or 2, but definitely the practices at like, it could be like a drill, or let me try and think of like a certain drill. It's mostly, I would say mostly at the end, we always do this one sort of like finisher drill, and it makes the whole team come together and like really get involved with each other and use each other and put trust in each other. And then we always end with like a break, and it just makes it feel like a team. And those are probably my most memorable moments, because I feel like I'm really here. I have my team, I have my family, and it's a great feeling.
Yeah, no, definitely. And especially, you know, kind of being on an all-female team, great. It's great to see.
Yeah. Yes.
Having all these girls who play the same sport that you love. There's nothing wrong with it. So I guess my next question is, you know, there's not typically a lot of representation of female athletes kind of in sport to begin with. And, you know, like, how has this impacted you, if it has, being a female athlete?
It's definitely been harder, especially for when I wanted to train outside of my travel teams, like growing up and stuff like that. There was never really facilities for like women and like just softball. It was kind of mixed with other things, and it was really hard to find like a woman trainer and stuff like that. So I had to go to Ontario Blue Jays, and that's a baseball association. So it was kind of like sad that I had to go to a baseball association just to do some extra training. So I'm hoping that's what changes in the future, is that as softball becomes more popular, that there'll be more facilities open to girls who, like me, who were trying to find somewhere to go and couldn't find anywhere. So they had to go to baseball or some other training facility that isn't specific for women and specific to softball.
Yeah. And how has it been kind of coming from a diverse background? How has that shaped your journey and kind of your outlook on sport and softball?
It's definitely changed the impact of softball that had on me. Every time I would play, like especially when I was younger, I never really saw people that looked a lot like me, whether it was players or coaches. So it made me feel like not out of place, but it just made me feel like I was different. I don't really know. I don't want to say different, but I just wish that there was a lot more people that looked like me and that were diverse and that came from a diverse background and stuff. And that's partially what I'm doing in school right now. I'm working on a Bachelor of Science in Coaching and Conditioning, so that when I come back to Canada, I can hopefully train or coach girls and give them like sort of like a role model that they can look up to, that is diverse, and show them that it doesn't matter where you come from or what you look like, you can accomplish great things.
Yeah, no, role models are super important. And especially, you know, being a girl, being able to have that coach or that trainer to look up to, it's huge. Yeah. So can you tell me about a strong female role model, or just any role model that you've had in your life kind of throughout your journey so far?
It would definitely be my mom, probably, because she's the one that kind of introduced me to softball. I was always like, no, I don't want to play softball, like not really. But she used to play it herself. So I kind of tried it for her, and I ended up falling in love with it. And just growing up with her as a single mom and everything, it's shown me how strong she is and what she can do just by herself as a woman. And it's made me want to use softball to prove that being a woman and especially being from a diverse background, it doesn't matter. You are still just as powerful. You can do anything you try to accomplish. And she's definitely been my biggest role model in life, because I do everything for her.
Yeah, we love moms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are there kind of just any messages that are really important to you that you would like to share, or, you know, any? Yeah.
Yes,
stick with
definitely. I would say if there's anything that I could give advice on, it would be to always remember that a student athlete, that the student always comes first. So to make sure that your grades are always as best as they can be, because those are very important. And even when nothing seems to be going your way, whether it be with softball or in life and everything, you should always try and keep a positive attitude and be optimistic, because that'll take you farther in life. And remember that someone's always watching you. So you want to put your best perspective forward.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll finish up with this one. So tell me about how softball has kind of helped shape who you are today and the woman that you're becoming.
Softball has definitely given me a lot more chances to build on my confidence, build on trusting other people, really engaging on the fact that trusting others and having teammates help you succeed, not just by doing everything yourself. So that's definitely something that softball has given me. It's allowed me to focus and really, if I want something, I can go and get it. I have to work for it, and good things will always come out of it. Definitely practice makes perfect. That's always something I believe in. Overall, it's taught me many little life lessons that help me shape who I am today. It doesn't whether it's out of softball or in my social life or at school or with my friends, softball has always taught me to try to be a leader and try and be a team player and help everyone around you, because that's what's going to make you succeed.
Yeah. So we can just kind of use this time, if there's anything that, wasn't covered that you want to cover, or anything that you want to kind of say, feel free to say now, but if not, then just shoot a thumbs up and I can stop the recording.
I would say, besides my mom being a big female role model, I would say growing up in the softball world, being able to train with the Team Canada coaches and players in the softball training winter camps, they've definitely given me the confidence and motivation to realize that anything's possible, because they are going to the Olympics this year. And they've increased my skills for softball and what do I want to say? They've increased skills in softball and overall knowledge of the game. And they've definitely still they've definitely been very impactful and in the sport, and they represent what women in sport should be.
All right. Hi, my name is Kim Sarzin. I was part of the Canadian Olympic team in the 2004 Olympic that were held in Athens, Greece. And this is my softball story. I started playing softball. I was 5 years old in my hometown of Mcintosh, Quebec. It was the first year that softball was actually being played in my hometown. And it was only for the 8 years old and over. My sister had started playing, they needed players, and that's how I got started. Fell in love with the game fairly quickly. Started playing, every time I could. Started training, started special courses in the winter. And I decided I wanted to be a catcher. A couple of reasons why. I like to be behind the scenes. I love the equipment, and I was in love with Gary Carter. Gary Carter was the Expos catcher back then, and I was a huge fan of the Montreal Expos, so I wanted to be just like him. I started taking it very seriously probably around the age of 12, when I really felt like, okay, I really want to do this. I set myself some goals. I wanted to participate in les Jeux du Québec, so the Quebec Games, which was pretty cool. I thought this was going to be the greatest things that was going to happen to me. Then I started thinking, okay, like it'd be really cool to play for our provincial team. And I was really lucky to be able to be invited and train with the Quebec provincial team that was training for the Canada Games that were held in Kamloops. At that time, the Canada Games were U19s, if I'm not mistaken, or U18 maybe, and I was 15. So I was invited to the training camp. It was like a year-long thing, and it was really my first time being thrown into the elite level of play. I worked really, really hard, and by luck, I guess, but I worked really, really hard. I was actually selected to the team and taken to the Canada Games with all these 18-year-old girls that took me under their wing. So incredible experience. I thought, this is it. This is the peak of my career. Nothing else better is going to happen to me. Well, what do you know? I get to participate in 6 Canadian championships, and in '99 at my Canadian championships in Surrey, BC, there's a couple of schools from the United States that were there to recruit players. That was the ultimate time for me, being a French girl from Montreal. I get a couple offers to go to a school down in the US, and I was even offered a full scholarship to attend Eastern Kentucky University. Decided to say, go, I'm in. I'll figure it out once I get there. And I was really lucky to find a great fit as a school. I spent 4.5 years there, got my degree in kinesiology and got a minor in management, but played for 4 years with Eastern Kentucky University in the OVC championships, in the OVC conference, my bad. Best 4.5 years of my life by far, training. And then it became reality that, my Olympic dream could be possible. I started gravitating around the national team in '99, right before the 2000 games in Sydney. We all moved to Calgary for the summer to train. And I knew I wasn't going to make that team because there's much older girls that were there and much better players that were there. But just to be around them was pretty amazing, to train in Calgary and get that opportunity to go and train next to Katrina Lemaidon was there training at the Olympic Oval and the training center. And it was really cool to be there and meet all these great athletes and great fast pitch players that were there. Got to participate in the Canada Cup. That's another pretty cool thing that you get to do when you're Canadian, is go to Canada Cup and play at primetime hour at 7 p.m. at night. Just amazing. Then come the 2001, when the cycle restarted, I was invited to the senior team's camp and was selected to participate in 2001 at the Pan Am. It wasn't the Pan Am Games, it was the Pan Am, qualifier games in Venezuela. We got to go to the US Cup down in the US, played a Canada Cup, obviously, and spent the whole summer with the team. The following year, in 2002, we participated in the World Championships that were held in Saskatoon. You would think Saskatoon in August would be hot and nice. No, it was like 3 degrees and freezing, but really an awesome experience as well to be there. In 2003, I made the team again. We participated in the Pan Am Games where we won silver. Really, really great time at the Pan Am Games. Canada's super popular in the Dominican Republic. They love us. We had so many the crowds were incredible. We couldn't hear each other talk. It was a big party in the crowd, and always remember that. That was crazy. And then obviously the year of the Olympics, we centralized in Vancouver for that year under Mike Rennie's wing. He was the head coach in 2004. So I opted to move to Vancouver at the start of January to train with some of the girls that were already there. And right before we went on a trip in April to New Zealand and Australia, Mike finalized my selection to be on the team. Then we all got home after a few weeks in New Zealand and Australia. We traveled the world, obviously, right? So we came home, and for a few weeks, then we started training, and then went on to Prague and a few places to get ready for the Olympic Games. Obviously, Canada Cup every year is a big happening for all the countries. And then went on to the Olympics. And obviously, the stage is massive. Being the only French-Canadian girl on the team, I was asked to do a lot of the media part of it because I was speaking to French media, to English media. Hey, Kim, you're right here, so let's grab you for a quote or something. But amazing experience. Obviously, we didn't, we fell short in one of the games against Australia to get it into the medal round, but incredible experience. It's just so big. It's hard to explain how it is. And, we did really well. We fought in every game. We dropped a game we shouldn't have dropped against Greece. But at the end of the day, it's the experience, and, you're sad for a day and then you just move on. And, and then coming back from the Olympics, my life was really, I was 26 and ready to do something new. So had to find a job. So I started working for Easton baseball, softball, so Easton Sports here in Montreal. And I've been with the company for 16 years now. And I'm now the director of sales for all of Canada. So it's a really cool company to work for. And all this because of softball, obviously. So softball also, like, I got to travel the world because of softball. And that's just, softball for me was life. It was school. It was everything. It just teaches you so much about yourself, about the game. It allowed me to see the world, to travel, to learn English, because I had to go to school in the United States. It really opened every door for me. And that's why it was like, the ultimate sports for me, it was softball. And when I see what they're doing today, oh my goodness, it's incredible. Some of these players are just amazing. And we've really, I think, when I look what's going on around the world with softball and fast pitch, and I see so many highlights, and obviously the NCAA girls and what they do. I mean, these girls are for real. These girls are real deal. They are unbelievable at what they do. It's really incredible what they're able to do nowadays, and the athleticism that they have, and it's just really amazing. And I try to keep in touch with my coach in the U.S. and see what they're doing, and it really is. It's really been amped up quite a bit, and obviously there's a lot behind it, and the girls are incredibly athletic, and I like to think that it was that good, but for some reason I'm looking at them and I'm like, man, these girls are unbelievable. So that's it. I mean, that's a little bit of my softball story. I know, I have two boys that play baseball, and, I coach them and I try to be involved with them as much as possible. Although they play baseball, it's a little bit the same anyways at a certain age. Now they're getting older, so mommy's gonna get out of the way and I'll just be a mom in the stands. But softball is really, it's life. It'll open so many doors and opportunities at whatever level. And that's the cool part of it.
Hello, my name is Carrie Lee Weiss, and this is my softball story. I am a proud Indigenous woman. I am Deer Clan and of the Cayuga Nation. I was born and raised and currently living on the Six Nations Reservation in Ontario, where me and my husband are raising our family of soon to be a family of 5. We have 2 daughters, and the gender of the new baby is being kept a surprise. I'm due April 1st, so just right around the corner. I started playing softball since I was able to play t-ball, but growing up on the reservation, softball was one of the only sports that was offered, and I played because it was fun. But it wasn't until I was 11 when I really wanted to take softball to the next level and play at the provincial level, and that is where I found the Brantford Bobcats. We had to go off reserve in order to play a higher level softball, where I've met some of the greatest and most talented people and even got to share our experiences and play alongside with them while wearing the Team Canada uniform. Brantford Bobcats was the only team I played for growing up for when I was right from the time I was 11 all the way up till we were the senior level. I can't thank my coaches and teammates enough for the memorable moments we shared together, and we not only grew into better softball players but also into young women. Because of softball, I was able to not become another statistics for Indigenous peoples. Softball gave me the opportunity to get an education and experience life outside the reservation as I received a scholarship to Syracuse University, where I played alongside the famous Jenna Kyra. What does softball mean to me? This question had me really think about it and got me emotional. And the best way that I could begin to explain what softball means to me is being my savior. Softball is so much bigger than just a game. Softball gave me the ability to dream, to work hard, to be a teammate, to fail, to succeed, and gave me opportunities. Softball shaped me into the person who I am today, where giving up is never an option. The lessons and work ethic I've learned in softball transferred into how I choose to live my life every day. Because of it, I was able to graduate with a Bachelor's of Science and a Bachelor's of Education, and I currently teach on my own reservation, fulfilling my dreams, teaching my own people, and guiding them down a good path. Because of it, I aim to be the best version of myself as a person, as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter, as a coach, and so on. Being a woman in softball to me means change in attitudes, change in perspectives, change in society norms, and change in inequality. In Indigenous culture, we always think 7 generations ahead. We are taught to make our own choices based on how it will affect our next 7 generations. Women in softball means strong, resilient women who will run the nation in whichever direction they choose to take it. Playing for Team Canada was a dream come true and an indescribable feeling. It's the kind of feeling that makes you cry after winning a major title because you think back to all of your hard work, sweat, tears, and blood that went into getting you there. Playing for Team Canada lit a fire for me. It uplifted my spirits, my ancestors. It gave me the utmost proud feeling to be a part of such an elite program and represent my nation at the highest level, and proud that I could be that person to represent Indigenous women in softball. Often, Indigenous peoples are viewed as being not enough. Playing for Team Canada made me feel I was enough and that I mattered and that I was good enough to represent them on the national stage as they believed in me. I first had the opportunity to play for Team Canada at the junior level when we traveled to South Africa for the World Championships in 2011, where we placed 5th. The very next year, I had the honor and opportunity to represent Team Canada at the senior level at my first World Championship in Yukon Whitehorse in 2012, where we placed 4th. And that is where I got to play in front of other Indigenous peoples who lived nearby on a reservation, which was really cool because after my first game, they came up to me and they said, "We heard there was a Native girl on the team and we just had to come and see for ourselves." And they told me that they were so proud of me putting our people on the map. During that World Championship, one of our biggest Indigenous television networks heard about me and came to interview me, which was APTN, and that was cool. In 2013, I took a year off to have my first daughter. I faced a lot of discrimination with that. When I talked to head coach Mark Smith and told him the news, I said, "Don't worry, I'll be back in 2014 for the tryouts." And he said, "Congrats," and he wished me well, and he told me, "We'll see." So those words resonated with me that whole time I was pregnant And when I first had her, and then all the time I was training to get back to where I was. So my goal turned into representing my Indigenous peoples and women, to representing mothers in sport, and wanting to normalizing that mothers can play at the elite level as well, because you see it all the time in the NBA and the football, etc. But because in society, women are seen as the sole parent and can't do anything else. And if they choose to do anything else, they are being selfish or shamed for it. So I wanted to make a change for that. After having my daughter, I had 6 months to get into both physical and softball shape. I worked my butt off. It was a lot of late nights and early mornings, but if you want something bad enough, you'll work for it. And that's just what I did. And it all paid off, because after tryouts, I entered that meeting where they told us if we made the team or not. And I was told I had made the team. And holy man, what a feeling that was. And in that moment, I immediately just thought of my daughter. I wanted to make her proud of the mom that I am and what she can accomplish. And that's just what I did in that moment. I played in 4 world championships with Team Canada. In 2011, we traveled to South Africa. In 2002, we traveled to Whitehorse, Yukon. In 2014, we were in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. And in 2016, I competed in the Surrey, BC World Championships. Each year was memorable, but earning a 3rd best world title on home soil in 2016 was by far the most memorable. So yes, I played with Team Canada from 2011 to 2017. 2017 is when I decided to retire because of family. And that's really difficult for me, but the best way I can describe it is family. And I think the most unique challenge for Indigenous athletes is cultural shock by going off reserve to pursuing their dreams and into society that is all new to them. Because when I first went to Syracuse University, I had cultural shock, and I almost didn't make it through my first semester, because it's that sense of feeling alone. You're alone, like you have your teammates, but Indigenous cultures, we're just so used to being around our families and our tribes, our own kind. So when we go off reserve, it's a huge cultural shock. The advice that I would give to my 12-year-old self is to never be scared to chase your dreams, even though you may have to do it alone. You may have to be the first one. Be proud of where you come from and play how the Creator intended you to play. I would like to thank everyone involved in this summit, as I know it takes time and a lot of hard work, and I was honored to speak today with you guys.
My name is Andrea Wolfe, and this is my softball story. It all started when I was about 4 years old, and I got a brand new Canadian Tire glove. And when I put that glove on for the first time, I would never have guessed I would be where I am today and have experienced what I have from softball. I fell in love with this sport the first time I put on that Canadian Tire glove and tossed a ball in the air. And I'm as passionate today about softball as I was back then. Although I was born in Regina and played minor ball as a city girl until I was 12, I've spent the majority of my life in rural Sask. So, you know, my story is truly a small town prairie girl softball story. You know, I was lucky enough that my dad believed in me. And one day when I was 14, he handed me a brochure about the '89 Canada Games softball tryouts and said, "Andy, I think you can do this." And from that moment on, you know, I just had door after door of opportunity open for this amazing softball journey. And that's helped me really become the person I am and where I've got to today. And my brochure moment, as I call it, you know, led to a 4-year stint with the Team SAS program, you know, which opened a door for college opportunity. And the college opportunity led to, you know, playing every summer as an import for teams across Canada. And from there, that led to 2 seasons playing overseas in Japan. And becoming a mom, I began coaching my kids. And obviously, you know, you're around all over Saskatchewan, and that opened the door for some more coaching opportunities, which led to coaching the U of R Cougars, which opened a door for me, again, for another opportunity to guest coach with Softball Saskatchewan. which led to the opportunity of being selected as the Women in Coaching apprentice for the 2013 Canada Games team. And from there, I just stepped into the Team Sask head coach role until 2017 Canada Games. And again, from there, another new opportunity opened the door, and I became the head coach of the Newfoundland Senior Women's softball team, which then led to coaching their 2022 Canada Games female softball team. And in between all the coaching, an opportunity to run for our Softball Canada Board of Directors came up. And now I have this amazingly rewarding experience to work within the Softball Canada organization and give back to the sport that's given me so much.
Tell us about your time as a board of director member for Softball Canada.
Well, being a board member has been so much fun. I've met so many great people, and being able to contribute to our sport, whether it's, facilitating a clinic, attending a board meeting, or, working together with people on a Timbits manual, it's just so rewarding. And I love seeing the provinces and territories continually build upon their own programs and work together to help each other. And it really gives you, being a director, a different perspective when you can see the different issues arise from coast to coast. And it's nice to be around, people that share the same passion about softball as I do.
So you're one of 2 female members on the board of directors. How does it feel to be a part of this group? What does it mean to you to see female representation on this staff?
Well, it's really important to me. And although I've never really considered, being one of 2 females, part of a group, I think, ultimately we're all equal in the boardroom. And I feel I have equal respect, as my male board directors do. And that's one of the reasons that I love being a part of the Softball Canada board. I've always just felt that the best candidates should be on the board, and it shouldn't really matter what gender, race, religion, sexuality you are. But it is easier to understand what issues exist out there when you have, a diverse representation. I really don't think men can understand what women experience, just as what women can't, we don't understand what men experience. So, having the female representation for the females in our sport is important. I mean, there's that stigma out there that women are being put into positions because they are female, but, I've never felt left out as a female board director. I'm constantly in a man's world. So when I coach, I'm normally the only female coach on the field, and I work on the family farm, and I'm the only female on the family farm. And if I haul grain, I'm usually the only female trucker pulling up to the grain terminal. But, I've never consciously looked at it or considered, being a female. It never stops me. It's never hindered me from doing what I want. But, like anything in life, I think you should earn your way. But as I said before, there's fewer females in our sport compared to males. So you feel that bond and that connection with the females because we understand what we go through. And it's so much fun having another female director on the board. We laugh and share all these crazy things, we do as mothers, trying to get our kids all to the ball field on time, or, difficulties of balancing coaching or administrating, running a household, parenting and having a career, and all those fun things that come with being a woman. But all kidding aside, I think it's really important to have that female representation, because we're dominantly a female sport, and I think it really paves the way for the younger female generation to know that those opportunities are out there for them as well.
Yeah. So how have you been using your position with coaching and on the board of directors to be able to kind of use your influence to spark change?
Well, I think just leading by example. There's a difference between change and improvement, and I try to continue to improve rather than expect change or try to make change. So, I've learned so many things from so many positive people throughout my life, and continually learning still and being able to share that, with my players, fellow coaches or administrators and softball colleagues, and encouraging everyone to improve, whether it be on the field or in the boardroom. I think it's just an unconscious influence perhaps that I have. And it's just kind of who I am and what I do.
Can you tell me about a strong female role model that you've had in your life?
Absolutely. I think this is a really cool story. My very first female coach was at the age of 14, as I mentioned before, and that was my Team SAS coach, Shirley Kowalski. And she taught me so many life skills through the game of softball, and I truly learned respect, how to be a team player, and how to believe in myself. And I think I admired just the way Shirley carried herself and shared her passion for the game, with us. And she brought in other female guest coaches. She just got down in the dirt with us when she was teaching sliding, and she never let us ever doubt our abilities. So, not only did she take the game to a new level for me, but I evolved into a better person, just because of my experiences with her. And in the summers, because, where I lived, I was so far from where most of the city players were. I wasn't able to have a competitive league to play in or train with. So she gave me confidence to go train as a 16-year-old female with my local senior men's team. And, over the course of the 4 years, the team slimmed down to 20 of us in the final player pool. I was the only rural kid in there, and only 15 kids could make the team. Players can make the team. So when the final selections were made in April, the year of '89 of the games, I wasn't selected. And, although I was disappointed, I never once felt bad about it, because she gave me so much over the 4 years that I spent with her. And so a few weeks, after the final team was selected, the phone rang, and it was the Team SAS field hockey coach for the Canada Games. And they were short players for their selection pool, and was wondering if I would be interested, because Shirley had recommended me. And, I'd never even heard of field hockey, never seen it. But, I was game for something new. So I went to the tryout. I easily caught onto it. I ended up making the team and competing in the '89 Canada Games, and had a fun, career with field hockey as well. And I owe that to Shirley, because those skills that she provided me while I was in softball, helped me to cross over to another sport. But the defining moment with Shirley was during the Canada Games. We were playing Nova Scotia, and I just happened to look over in the stands, and there was Shirley watching. She was just sitting by herself watching me play. And that was such an empowering moment and memory for me, to know that a coach that had not selected me for her final team, took the time to come and watch. And that's just so classy. And I've always carried that with me, and have always aspired to be like her. And I think that's really how female role models have really built confidence in me as a coach and a person, just show you care. And that was just an important part of my life for her to know, or for me to know, that she was there for me, no matter what.
So what do you hope to see change in the future in relation to women in sport and in softball?
I hope we have more allies and support each other by getting involved. I really believe females should coach females, and females should make decisions on what's best for the female athletes. The power of having a female coach can make or break an experience for a young female athlete. And, it's really important to have a female tell young females, you can be here, you can do this, or you can do that. You can follow your dreams, and whatever you want to do, you can do. And for us to be able to have that, I think we as females have to step up to the plate, so to speak. And so if we want to see more female coaches, we need to start coaching. If we want more spectators at our female sports, then we as females, we need to buy tickets and watch those games. So, although there's a lot of talk that we need more females, it's, there's not enough action taking place. So we really need to get more involved.
Yeah, definitely. What do you hope to leave as your legacy?
I think it'll be really short and sweet. I want my kids to know that I'm the best mom that I can be for them. And, I want people, I guess, to share in my passion for softball, and that I've positively impacted, the lives of others just through my love of the sport.
Do you have any kind of last messages or stories or anything you want to impart with anybody, or kind of now's your your time for anything that wasn't mentioned before to put it in?
I think maybe if you don't mind, I'll touch on some of the lessons that I've learned through the game of softball. And, you know, whatever role I'm in as a mom or an administrator or a business owner, I think the skill set in each one of them is the same and ultimately the same goal. You know, we all just want to have success for everyone, you know, that's involved. And some of the things that I've learned over the years from softball that has helped me, you know, get to where I am is teamwork and working together so that, you know, we can all achieve things and be in sync. I think you aren't always going to get along with the person on the bench next to you or, you know, a sibling or a coworker, but you need to learn how to respect them and check your ego at the door for the good of the team. So celebrating everyone's successes and achievements is a good team player. It's really, truly how I parent, run the farm, and serve as a board director. You know, life is a pitch. Every pitch is different, just like every life situation, and you need to adjust in order to be successful. Tip off the foul balls, and when the right pitch comes your way, you be prepared to run the bases. I think patience, you know, some things take time, whether it's improving your swing or, you know, growing a crop, watching your children develop. You know, it takes time and it doesn't come easy, and it's the ability to keep a good attitude while waiting. Now you can ask some, you know, maybe a former senior men's coach or women's coach from Vancouver, my children, they may not think I'm that patient, but I think I am. With hard work, there's just no limits, you know, that you have to be the hardest worker in the room and on the field. And there's always obstacles or doubters, and the results will pay off. You know, if it's team conditioning or staying up late with your kids because they're sick, you know, it just takes time and effort, but those rewards are truly unmeasurable. And that's something that's very important to me, to respect everything people do. And it doesn't matter what the job is, work hard at it and take pride in it. And, you know, life is easy. Winning is one of the best feelings in the world. And I'm very competitive, but I don't let it go to my head and don't let the losing go to my heart. It's learning what it takes to win. Sportsmanship is something that I try to bring with me everywhere I go, and, you know, play fair, be respectful, and be willing to accept the outcome of any game. And I think that transfers over to life too. You know, we're often faced with negative situations. Just learn to shake it off and stay positive. And especially, you know, nothing is perfect in life. So, you know, failure is going to happen. It's inevitable. But softball has really taught me to learn from failure and pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and make adjustments. You know, mistakes happen, and that's proof that you're trying. I think that has made me a better and stronger person. And you know, life isn't always fair. There's plenty of games that should have been won, or, you know, you might work your butt off and the teammate that is lazy gets the playing time, but things aren't always going to go your way. And no matter what happens, you don't give up. Just let it make you stronger, and eventually that will all pay off.
The competitive aspect,
the competition. Exciting to play, a lot of fun, you make a lot of friends.
Team sport.
The physical and the mental challenge.
I'm able to still play at this level.
2 of my daughters are on Team Canada.
It's competitive at all levels. Get to play and work at the same time.
Can't beat it, being around them all the time.
I like to play hard, give it all I have. The friendships that you create,
So meeting friends along the way.
Make some really great memories.
will last a lifetime.
Just enjoy the experience. Travel the world.
I just want to take one quick second and say thank you to our speakers, Kim, Carrie Lee, Andrea, Annie, Karina, and Callie. We are so grateful that you chose to share with us today, and you certainly made this event a great success. To all of you who tuned in, thank you for supporting this initiative, and we encourage you to follow along with Softball Canada as we launch even more in the area of supporting women and girls within our game. Thanks so much.